Hi, M4 is one of the steels that I suspect is not particularly happy wearing a polished micro-convex. What I've got here is a Benchmade Contego in M4, and right now it has on it a sort of modified factory edge. So I've taken the factory edge, I've stropped it, and then I've run it over a Tormek at the same angle at the 1000 grit stone, and so it's kind of nice and toothy, very, very sharp, very, very sharp indeed. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut rope with it, seeing how it goes with its perhaps more ideal edge. I didn't keep these results in the list sort of thing because they're not in the same scientific method, but I think they're interesting nonetheless because my testing isn't the be-all and end-all, and some steels wear different edges differently. In fact, there's most steels actually come with guidance from the makers about how to heat treat it and how best to implement it. So there we go. But M4 is one that I often get questions about, and I'll do it with the current edge, and then I'll redo this knife with the same workshop edge for my parameters in a separate video, probably once my hand feels better, because I think this might be a long one. Let's get to it. Well, there you go. So with the ideal edge, well, there's two differences between this knife and the original test knife. First of all, this knife's Rockwell hardness is between 62 and 64. So that is fairly high. I don't know what Spyderco runs the Mantra at. It might be only about 61 or 62, so that might have changed a little bit. But I think the most active change here is that toothy V-grind edge, and as a result 340 cuts, which is very good numbers indeed. The real world equivalent of 340 cuts of this nasty fibrous shit would be a lot of EDC use. So any steel that does about this with a V-grind or a factory edge, it's going to last you a long time. So what I'll do next, and this won't be today because my hands are quite sore, is I'll put a workshop edge on this M4 knife and see what the standard test does, see how the Benchmade Contego does. It might do a little bit more than the Spyderco Mantra just due to that Rockwell, but we'll see. Yeah, very, very good stuff. And when you unleash M4 with a correct edge, like a more ideal edge, it'll cut for days. Even the original result, 220, nothing to smirk at all, but that feels more in line with what the expectation of M4 from other people is, because people do seem to love it as a really good durable edge still. Makes me fear if I ever do this with Maximet, because I think Maximet might even be the same kind of steel where it's better even with a bit of a toothy edge. So we'll see if I ever get to that. That may be the last test I do because my hands will probably fall off. Anyway, M4 unleashed, 340 cuts on a Benchmade Contego. Very, very cool indeed. Thanks for watching, dudes. I'll see you later.